Hey guys, welcome back. It's Neon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Marvel's Phase 4.
Right, it's the most diverse phase in the MCU.
It's also the weirdest
Yes.
in the MCU.
I'm just saying, when I saw this headline, I was like, whoa. You just got done promoting how Phase 4 was supposed to be the most diverse phase in the MCU. And then there's another headline saying it's the weirdest? Are you saying diverse people are weird?
I don't know. They might be. It's also kind of a placeholder. So we're going to talk about Phase 4 and Phase 5 in a little more detail in this video. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to the channel for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We really appreciate it.
Subscribe for Neon.
Oh, you beat me to it. Subscribe for Geeky. Subscribe for us.
Subscribe for, rants and
Rants
reviews
and fun. Rants and fun.
Free and fun.
So Phase 4, they made a bunch of announcements at San Diego Comic-Con. The thing is some of the movies that were announced are not actually part of Phase 4.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
They're part of Phase 5. And it looks like Phase 4 is basically kind of like a placeholder phase. Now, the phases of the Marvel Universe, for those of you who aren't quite clear on what they are, they're basically think of it as action figures. It's like a wave of releases.
Yeah, exactly.
And they all tie together. And usually how it worked in the past was there'd be a bunch of movies in a phase, and then they would kind of end with an Avengers movie, and then move on to the next phase. It's sort of like a self-contained arc, I guess, of Marvel movies. But Phase 4 introduces a lot of like D-list characters.
No, it's diverse. But weird.
D for diversity.
That's right, D for diversity, but then apparently diversity is weird.
Yeah.
So make up your mind.
Okay, so this is interesting. So the Marvel Studios recently unveiled its slate of upcoming Phase 4 Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, and the planned lineup is their craziest yet. Yeah, because you've freaking killed off or sidelined all of the characters everybody gave a shit about. So now we have to introduce a bunch of weird characters. Instead of returning to a well of familiar characters and concepts, Marvel seems to be expanding to territory only seen in the comics.
Okay, there's a reason for this. We can talk about that for a minute. You want to talk about the reason why they're kind of probably doing this?
You can talk about it because you actually brought it up earlier today.
Okay, well, one thing that Disney seems to do is that they want to do the stuff in the theme parks, clearly. But they're tied up in Florida with Universal having the rights to a lot of characters. So for Guardians of the Galaxy, they kind of piece it together with different characters they had, made a new thing that weren't tied up in rights issues so they could bring Guardians attractions to the parks.
Yeah, because most of the major Marvel characters are tied up at Universal. So we've, obviously the Avengers, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, X-Men, they were all the major Marvel characters of the 80s and 90s, and they were tied up before Disney bought Marvel. So, they're bringing Spider-Man and the Avengers to California, but they can't do it for Orlando. So they have to build new characters that exist outside of that agreement.
So hence we get these, I think Doctor Strange isn't even included because they were able to do some Doctor Strange things at Disney World, weren't they?
Kind of, but it
was like an iffy area. It could be like meet and greets. It couldn't be like attraction.
Because he's an off again, because they have a deal for the Avengers, I guess, and he's sort of an off and on again member of the Avengers. So but they can't do like a Doctor Strange ride, but they can do, the reason they're building a Guardians of the Galaxy ride in Florida is because Guardians of the Galaxy was not covered by that deal.
Right.
Because they were D-list characters.
So we're going to call instead of this weirdest, we're going to call it transition. Phase 4 is transition. They're trying to transition new characters in that they have more control over. While using the terms diversity, when they're actually just trying to probably get more fodder for the parks. It's probably what they're trying to do.
Right, because I guarantee you the Universal deal doesn't include the Eternals or Shang-Chi or any of these D-list
why
characters.
These? Here's why.
Right.
People are asking, why Shang-Chi? There's reason.
Yep.
Anyway, so go ahead, continue.
So they basically want lightning to strike twice, and they want to create another Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
Where they have build the Eternals into a major Marvel franchise and then use them in the theme parks and stuff. So one of the remaining founding Avengers, Thor, will be the only Phase 1 hero to receive a fourth film.
Well, Scarlet Witch, Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow was technically part of Phase 1.
Yeah, but she's getting a prequel. The final film in Phase 4 will explore a recent concept from the comics. Jane Foster is the mighty Thor.
And that did so well in the comics.
Yeah, because they reverted Thor back to actual Thor. While this might not be too weird, especially for longtime fans, was sure to be weird is the direction the film will likely take.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be weird.
So Ragnarok director Taika Waititi will return, thank God not doing Akira, likely bringing with him the hallmark colors and cosmic explosiveness that define the third Thor film. So there's bound to be
I did like Ragnarok, though. I did like it.
So they are bringing Doctor Strange back, and they talked about how they introduced the multiverse concept in Far From Home, and it'll be much more central in Phase 4. That could be a huge problem.
Yes.
But it's also a loophole.
It's exactly what they're using it for. Guaranteed.
It's a huge problem, but it's also a loophole because you know what? The 616 Tony Stark is dead. So if the MCU goes south after Endgame, at the box office, and it probably will because we've gotten rid of all the characters everybody really cares about except for Spider-Man, they can always dip into the multiverse to bring back another version of Tony Stark, sign Robert Downey Jr. for another 5 to 10 years.
Or Captain America or whatever.
Right. Or they could use it, and this would be the shittiest use of the multiverse. They can use the multiverse to recast all of the Avengers
That's what they're gonna do.
As younger, cheaper actors.
Or different actors, like, we got like the Riri Williams and all that. They can put those into it. Now, look, we have Ironheart instead of Iron Man.
Right.
So,
but it's in another universe, so she wasn't really
matter.
Replacing, Tony Stark. Yeah. So there are so many ways that they could go with this, and this is like the ultimate cheat, I think.
It is.
Because they could do a Captain America series with a totally different actor and just say it's just another universe.
Right.
So yeah, but they're talking about how they could bring in variations of familiar characters, Cap Wolf, Shuma Gorath. They could bring in Marvel Zombies. Like I don't think
about the What If too. The What If is like alternate versions of the characters. They're opening this up to
It's Pandora's box. The problem is they're opening it up to being a convoluted freaking mess. Like the MCU worked because there was a clean line from Iron Man to Endgame.
Right.
And everything tied in well. Whereas with DC, everything's a mess. Like they've got, spin-offs. And is this show in this universe? Who the hell knows? They've got the Justice League movies taking place alongside the Arrowverse, and they're not the same thing.
Right, and that's what they're heading for with this. They could be heading for with this. So
yeah, I think it's going to be a huge problem. So Marvel's also using the absence of teams like the Avengers to push lesser-known properties such as the Eternals, because they can put them in the theme park, and they can't put the Avengers in the theme park, one of several powerful hidden races in the Marvel Universe. The Eternals operate on a cosmic level by putting this larger-than-life franchise on the big screen. Marvel may be able to rectify not doing so with the reviled TV show adaptation of the Inhumans.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Instead of being hamstrung by marginal creativity and even lower budget, they had to cut off Medusa's hair because they couldn't afford to animate her hair. Eternals can bring to life all that Jack Kirby envisioned, which could be exciting. It could be, but really at the end of it, this is about bringing those D-list characters into the limelight so they can use them in the theme parks.
Yeah, they're not going to say that.
Yeah,
but
that's really what this is about. So this is kind of interesting too, since we're talking about Phase 4 and we're talking about diversity. Yahoo did an article on the Marvel diversity timeline, the road to the MCU's diverse Phase 4.
You mean the weird?
The weird.
Depends who you ask.
The weird and diverse Phase 4.
Because those words go together, apparently. Go ahead.
This actually feels like, look, I'm going to be honest, after Endgame, it feels like they don't know what the hell to do with the MCU.
No, they're trying. No, what it feels like to me, and this is just being flat out honest. It feels to me like we concluded that 10-year arc, and now we have to move forward. And what's the buzzword right now? Diversity. So we got to make sure we're going to put that in there. They could have just made the movies and made them diverse and not made that a talking point and just been like, we're going to go with these properties. The characters are a bit more diverse now and stuff like that. So not even say it. Just go with these properties. Get diversity out there, bring these characters and talk about how excited they are about these properties and these characters. But no. We have to push that diversity every effing turn. Do the movies anyway and do good movies. You don't have to push that word. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now you just turn everybody off.
Well, I think that and the fact that like they've got to create some buzz because again, all of the characters, with the exception of Spider-Man, that people
Doctor
care
Strange.
about. Doctor Strange.
I like Doctor Strange quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, okay, I'll give Doctor Strange a pass. But, most of the major characters they've killed off or marginalized. They turned, like even Thor, they turned into a fat schlub.
Oh, I'm still mad they killed Black Widow.
They killed Black Widow, so they have to bring her back in a prequel.
Characters and they killed her. I'm so pissed.
But they go through the diversity timeline here and how the MCU has gotten more and more diverse as things progressed. But then we get to the bottom, and there's a backhand slap. We get to the bottom of this diversity timeline, and there was that moment when all the woman heroes came together to strut in Thanos' general direction, even if it was a bit cheesy.
It was really cheesy. I was like, I as a woman, I felt that was like, almost like you're giving us a hand, I didn't say handicap, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I'm a woman, and I like strong female characters, and I was like, really? You're gonna go there?
Slow-mo, Michael Bay
like,
style.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna do? Okay.
And perhaps most significantly, we had Steve Rogers passing his shield to Sam Wilson, meaning the next Cap will be black. Not a big deal. He was in the comics.
Yeah, that's something new.
Too. But this I thought was really funny. Captain Marvel finally gave the MCU its first woman lead, but it was generally a bit underwhelming.
It was.
Yahoo says Captain Marvel was underwhelming.
It was.
Diverse, but underwhelming. Still, it's another step forward. But it was underwhelming. It was an underwhelming step forward. So
I'm sorry, I was supposed to be appreciating Tessa Thompson's dress. I like her dress. I like that dress.
Okay, that dress
That's a beautiful choice. I will give her that. That is a gorgeous choice, and I appreciate your taste. Go ahead.
Okay, so here's the thing. A lot of the movies that were announced that people got excited about are not going to be in Phase 4. They're
That's
actually
right.
Phase 5.
Right, but they didn't tell you that.
They didn't tell you that. The movies that people actually give a shit about are going to be in Phase 5, plus Carol. Phase 5. Like Blade. They announced Blade. They're rebooting Blade into the MCU. Wesley Snipes really wanted the job. He didn't get it, but he was a good sport about it. Hopefully they'll bring him in some capacity. But Blade is going to be part of Phase 5.
Yeah, it's Phase 5. So Phase 4 is weird because it's a transitional filler.
It's filler. So, and really, the most exciting thing about Phase 4, honestly, is probably the TV shows on Disney+.
Doctor Strange, I think, is going to be. And Black Widow.
So here's what's coming out in Phase 4. So they're talking about, the Avengers obviously are going straight to TV at this point.
Yeah.
Because what we're getting in the theaters are, the Black Widow prequel, okay, fine. Eternals, Shang-Chi.
I don't know, I'm kind of interested in Shang-Chi, but go
Yeah,
ahead.
Doctor Strange, of course, and Thor, but then direct to TV, the Avengers go to TV. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Loki, and Hawkeye. But Blade, that was one of the biggest surprises, the one that a lot of people...
It was a surprise! They keep saying it was a surprise announcement. I saw many places predicting they were going to do Blade soon. They knew it was going to happen because people kept saying it. It was not an effing surprise. We all knew this was coming. Everybody speculated about it for months. This was not a surprise announcement. Surprise announcement who the actor was being cast.
Yeah.
Which I do agree with, and that they made a good choice there. But it wasn't a surprise.
Well, this sort of puts the death knell into the Netflix MCU, considering he played a villain in Luke Cage too. You can't have him in two places at once unless this is...
Well, they already got rid of all this, so it doesn't matter.
they're no longer... That'll be the next thing. They'll reboot Daredevil.
They're already saying they're going to do that, but they won't bring the actors back. And I'm sorry, Charlie Cox was perfect, and I think that they need to bring him back, and they're not going to. They're going to be... These actors, even the ones that were good in their parts, are going to be casualties because they were tied to Netflix. And that's a bad decision, Disney.
Yeah,
you need to bring Charlie Cox. He nailed it. He nailed it. You need to make sure you bring him in. I won't watch it unless you do.
So Phase 5, Blade's not coming until Phase 5. Black Panther 2 is not coming until Phase 5.
Yeah, that Captain Marvel 2 isn't coming until Phase 5.
Not coming until Phase 5. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 has been pushed back because of the James Gunn drama.
Not coming till Phase 5.
Not coming till Phase 5. Fantastic Four, they're still working on it. Phase 5. And I've heard some of the theories about how they're going to bring the Fantastic Four in because, for people who read Marvel Comics, they'll know that the Fantastic Four were technically the very first team that they kicked off the modern Marvel Comics era, even though there was a previous version of Human Torch, We had Namor before. We had Captain America before during the Timely Comics era.
But they weren't together.
Right. The Fantastic Four was the first of the Marvel Comics team-ups. They were the first. They started the Marvel Comics universe as we know it. To have them introduced almost last is kind of weird. So the rumor is that they were actually around in the 60s, but they've been in like some other dimension, trapped in another dimension, which I think is a really good move if they do that, because then they're still technically one of the first.
But here's what's weird about that. If that was the case, why did no one mention it ever?
Because they didn't know they had the rights.
I know why, but I'm saying if that's our argument for how they're going to bring them in, and that makes sense. The question everybody's going to ask is, if they were around, they knew they were around, like they were looking for Captain America all these years and everything else, why weren't they looking for these people?
Yeah, well, they're going to tie him in with Ant-Man that, Hank Pym actually knew about, Reed Richards, and that, now is actually a good time to introduce Reed Richards anyway, because with Tony Stark out of the way, they kind of made Tony Stark sort of the cocky Reed Richards of the MCU, because a lot of stuff that Tony did, Reed Richards did in the comics. So now that Tony's out of the way, we could bring, if we got the right person to play Reed Richards, we could have the new science leader.
Can't happen, because Captain Marvel has to lead the Avengers and has to be the smartest, bestest, fastest, greatest, because she's the new one in charge.
She can't science like Reed Richards.
It doesn't matter. She's a woman.
Well, no,
boobs are better than science.
Boobs are better than science. That needs to be a shirt. Or they could go completely diverse, and we could have Rita Richards and Sue Storm.
Don't give them any ideas
together.
Please don't give them
Rita
ideas.
Richards.
Even if they do that, I'm gonna, not because I'm against that. I just like those characters, and I don't want them changing them.
Rita Richards.
Yeah, no.
You watch. We'll get Rita Richards. The X-Men. They're not calling them the X-Men. They're talking about.
Allowed to.
Well, even Feige, the way he phrased it, I read a couple of interviews. He said that he was calling them the mutants. Like, we'll bring the mutants into the MCU, and that's concerning because a lot of people were already worried that they were going to call the X-Men like the X people or something, because it's sexist to call them the X-Men, even though they've always been like 50% female.
But they've always been the X-Men, because they talk about mankind, meaning humankind. But no,
it's problematic.
That's problematic. I'm sorry, I'm distracted by his package.
What?
I mean, just look at that.
Everybody's distracted by.
In comparison, look here. No, look at that.
There we go, guys. Geeky is distracted by Cyclops' package.
How could you not miss this? And this weird line right here is off-putting also. I mean, it's got like a weird thing going on here. I'm sorry. It's because
why do you keep looking at guys' crotches? I don't
mean to.
You're looking at the Netflix CEO's crotch. And
I was not. I was looking at his pants, which his pants were weird cut, and they did not sit properly on him, and it was awkward. I'm looking at this because this line here is odd and off-putting, and you can't.
It's because he stuffs his package.
That's what it looks like, because look, this line
because
is not
Scott
right.
Summers has a little dick, and he feels like he has to compensate, because if not, Wolverine's gonna get with Jean Grey, so he puts a sock in it.
I mean, we got the camel toe stuff going on over here, but I'm just saying, like, this line distracts. I'm sorry, it distracts. Because that line indicates it's flatter here and bigger there. And I'm sorry, it's distracting. In comparison, I mean, he's got a little bumpy here going on, but in comparison, you can't miss that. It's just that line. I'm just saying.
All right, so what did you do today? I recorded a video with my wife, and she was looking at Scott Summers' dick.
I'm looking at his shorts, and I'm assuming they wear cups. Because, otherwise you're asking for problems.
Right. When you're fighting Magneto, you don't want to be jiggling about.
Make sure you wear plastic cups, not metal cups.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's the pro tip there. When you're messing with Magneto.
When you're messing with Magneto, don't wear a metal cup. Because he will crush your balls with his mind.
Just saying. Just saying.
That's our advice. But yeah, so all the good stuff, I'm putting that in quotes because I don't know if it's going to be any good or not. All the stuff that most people are going to care about is coming in Phase 5.
Well, I'm interested in these things. Like this one I'm interested in. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm interested in that. I'm interested in that. I'm interested in that. I'm interested in that. Don't really give a shit about that. The only
movie in Phase 5 that I don't care about is probably Captain Marvel 2.
Right.
Because Captain Marvel, unless they
it wasn't terrible, the first one, but it wasn't crazy good either. It was passable.
If they blow up Carol and they bring in Monica Rambeau, who they are introducing in WandaVision, to replace her, I might be okay with Captain Marvel too.
I just don't think Brie Larson was the right choice. And it wasn't because of things she said. It was because the way she just couldn't act. It seemed like she was like a co-star in her own movie.
Well, even Yahoo said, yay diversity, but meh. Captain Marvel was meh.
You could do better.
Yay
for diversity, but you could do a better job with diversity than that.
Yep.
That's what they're basically saying.
I don't know. Phase 4, I'm not real excited about it. I think I'm actually more interested in the TV series at this point than I am in any of the movies that have been announced.
Yeah.
Save for Doctor Strange.
Yeah, Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Black Widow. Black Widow was my favorite.
But we know how.
Killed her.
Yeah, but we know how her story ends.
I love how they put it that she can never be brought back, ever. They made sure that there was no way to bring her back ever. But yeah, you can still probably bring Tony Stark back, but you can never bring her back.
You can.
I was like, that's douchey.
Doctor Strange can go into the multiverse and pull her out. Either that or ScarJo's too expensive. ScarJo's too problematic because ScarJo has spoken out against PC culture, so they had to drop her off a cliff.
She didn't speak out against PC culture. All she basically said was, it's a part, and if you're the right, basically like, why can I not play these parts? And I don't disagree with her. The whole point of acting is you're portraying characters that aren't like you. And in one breath, they're like, she can't play a trans male character in a movie because she was playing trans male, right? She can't play a trans male character in that movie because she's not trans, trans male actor. But Little Mermaid can be played by, an African American actress, and that's fine because it's acting. You can play things that you aren't, unless you're Scarlett Johansson. That's a problem.
Anybody can be anything except Scarlett Johansson. That's our takeaway. So, Phase 5. Just skip Phase 4 and go right to Phase 5.
I want to see Doctor Strange and Black Widow, though.
Okay, we'll go see that. So, I don't know. I'm really curious to see what happens to the MCU after Endgame. Spider-Man made a bunch of money, but it's Spider-Man. Plus it's the first movie after Endgame. And
they actually said they thought that was still kind of part of Phase 4, though. They said that was the end of Phase 4.
Yeah, that was like the coda.
Spider-Man. That's what he said. So, yeah.
Or end of Phase 3. The end of Phase
3. Yeah, that's what I mean. They all blur together.
Why do they even have phases? Because it's all like...
Just make good movies and stop calling them phase this, diverse that. Just make good movies and people will come. If you make it good, they will come. And do not say anything, because I can see your face and you're trying very hard not to make a comment. If you make a good movie...
The better it is, the harder they'll come.
That's right. If you make a good movie, you should have seen his face when I said that. I can just see it. He's like trying hard not to say something. Stop.
If it's not any good, they might not come.
I'm just saying.
They'll just leave disappointed.
Make good movies. Make fantastic characters. Let that speak for it. Stop using phases, diversity, and all these buzzwords to try to get people there. Just make good movies and good characters and put them out there, and they'll speak for themselves.
There we go. All right, so we got to wrap this one up.
Yep.
Okay, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants here on Clownfish TV. This has been Neon and Geeky.
Bye.
Goodbye. Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.